Afternoon, welcome to Weekend Edition. I'm Sabrina Salas-Matanani. Glad you could join us for our special coverage of Typhoon Vongfong. As of 7 p.m., Guam was placed in condition of readiness 1. This means that island residents are advised to stay indoors and off the streets as Typhoon Vongfong heads to the Mariana Islands. Joining us now from the Civil Defense in Agana Heights is KUAM's Ken Quintanilla.
Here at the Office of Civil Defense, I'm with Chip Guard from the National Weather Service. Chip, what's the latest information in regards to Typhoon Vongfong?
Vongfong is it's heading toward Rota. It looks like it's about 200 miles east-southeast of Rota and about 200 miles east of Guam. So it's at our latitude and it's headed to the west-northwest. So it's not going to hit us head on. But we will feel the effects of it, and I think the biggest effects we're going to feel are going to be a lot of heavy rain, a lot of flooding on the island. So there's also going to be high surf, and we want people to stay out of the water, so we don't want any drownings associated with the storm. There will be some wind on the northern part of the island especially, but the big hit I think is going to be Rota, and probably Tinian's going to feel as well.
I know that we're currently in condition of readiness 1. What does that mean in regards to the weather? You mentioned about heavy rains.
Well, condition readiness 1 just means that all the preparations have been made. It's time to hunker down, and people are in shelters. And generally, it means that we expect the damaging winds within 12 hours. They'll be here a little sooner than 12 hours this time. But that's fine, as long as people are ready and prepared. That's what Core 1 means. When the thing goes through and the damaging winds are no longer in effect and we're not getting any inundation on the island, we'll plunge off the warnings and then go back to Core 4.
I know that you mentioned about the closest point of approach. I know it keeps changing. What is the latest on that?
Well, the closest point of approach will be sometime between 2 and 4 in the morning. The closest point of approach is when the storm starts to move away from the island. But a lot of times people think that means that the worst is over. That's not necessarily the case. The worst could be after the storm starts moving away. And frequently the worst conditions are on the east side of the storm, or the side of the storm after the storm's moving away. So we'll keep a close watch on it. We have a lot of sensors around the island, and we know what's going on around the island. So we'll let people know when it's safe to go out.
That's all we have for now. Thanks again, Chip, for the latest on Typhoon Vongfong. Stay tuned to the stations of KUAM. Reporting for Guam News Network, I'm Ken Quintanilla.
Thanks, Ken. Reporting from Civil Defense with the National Weather Service's Chip Guard. Once again, the island is now in condition of readiness 1. Typhoon Vongfong's closest point of approach is expected to be early tomorrow morning between 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. You may, however, start experiencing increased winds and heavy rain at around midnight this evening. Access to Naval Base Guam, Anderson Air Force Base, and Naval Hospital Guam is limited to authorized personnel and emergency purposes only. As you heard from Chip Guard from the NWS, Guam is not likely at this time to take a direct hit from Vongfong. At 11, we should start to experience winds of up to 39 miles per hour. At 2 a.m., winds of 58 miles per hour, and around 4 in the morning, winds of up to 75 miles per hour if they do occur. Now, maximum sustained winds, according to Guard, could be around 75 over northern Guam. According to the National Weather Service's 9 p.m. bulletin, Vongfong is moving at 18 miles per hour and heading toward Rota. Maximum sustained winds are 105 miles per hour, and it is heading west-northwest. Now, some of the expected damage here in Guam could include lots of dead tree limbs, some damaged, poorly constructed roadways. A few secondary lines may go down. Roofing tin may become airborne. Poorly constructed signs could be damaged, and you can expect strong rip currents, low-level coastal flooding below 2 feet elevation on all exposures. Meanwhile, there is at least one report of flooded roads in Pidi. Route 1 by Polaris Point has been reduced to 2 lanes, one north and one southbound. Again, closest point of approach is forecast between 2 a.m. to 4 o'clock in the morning. If you need a safe place to ride out the storm, at 2 o'clock this afternoon, the Department of Education opened several designated storm shelters starting in the northern part of Guam. First, Matanaunau Elementary is now full to capacity. It is closed. However, you can still seek shelter at either Estumbo Elementary or Maria Ujoa Elementary. For residents living in central Guam, you can go to George Washington High School. And finally, for southern residents, if you need a safe place, you can go to either Harry S. Truman Elementary or Talafofo Elementary. Please keep in mind, alcohol, weapons, illegal drugs, candles, other flammable devices are prohibited. Pets are also not allowed unless they are service animals. We're told about 600 people are occupying the various shelters throughout the island. And with these shelters open with Guam in condition of readiness 1, this means all public schools, DoDEA schools are closed on Monday, also closed GCC and UOG. As for island residents with medical needs, such as those who rely on life-sustaining machines, you should make arrangements with a relative or neighbor with a working generator and stay with that person during the storm. Women 36 weeks pregnant and all high-risk pregnant mothers who are 6 months pregnant or more should start checking into GMH if you haven't done so already. As for the state of our island's utilities, the Guam Power Authority does not have any plans to shut off the island's power system. However, GPA Communications Director Art Paris says in the event you experience any sort of outage, a power fluctuation, spikes, or power dips, please call it in to GPA Dispatch at 475-1472, 73 or 74.
In the off position, and make sure it's in a well-ventilated area. The exhaust be outside the house, not inside. Make sure you also follow the operator's manual on how to properly utilize it.
Again, the GPA Trouble Dispatch number is 475-1472. As for news from the Guam Water Works Authority, when Core 2 was declared, GWA already shifted all 105 operational wells onto generator power. According to GWA spokesperson Heidi Ballendorf, should you have any water issues or breaks on your street during the storm, call their dispatch immediately at 646-4211 or 646-7319. She notes that the most efficient and effective way to let the agency know about a water issue in your village during the storm period is to report it directly to dispatch. This will ensure it's properly recorded, and as soon as it's safe to send crew, they will respond immediately. In the meantime, the Joint Information Center says there's still time to prepare. If you don't have your supply kit already, please ensure that you do have non-perishable food items, bottled water, a first aid kit, a battery-powered radio, flashlight and candles, extra batteries, a can opener, prescription medicine, and baby food. We'd like to see how you are hunkering down for the typhoon and your experience. When you post your videos and pictures on social media, make sure to hashtag Vongfong. We will be sure to share your posts with our viewers. In other news, according to the Federal Bureau of Investigation website, juvenile sexting is